Hey there YouTube, we're back again. Just gonna finish up putting this water pump kit on this lower unit here. It's part of its service. This is the wear plate I was referring to earlier. It's just, like I said, this small thin stainless plate. It goes right here. This is the water inlet for the pump. Yeah, just that's how it works. You got your water pump impeller here, little neoprene vanes on there. And got little O-rings, little grommets for the water pump outlet. Drive pin, very important. Pump doesn't work if the impeller doesn't spin. Pump housing. This unit is kind of nice because it has a replaceable pump cup, which makes the pump itself serviceable. We decided to go with a kit because it was actually cheaper this way, and not that there was really much wrong with the old pump, but it makes it nice to have some spares, some good spares for these things, especially with the price that it was at. Hey, you can see this is the part of the old seal here. It didn't want to come out. It was really fighting. Here's one of the new seals. Let's see, where's the other one? Here's the old pump here. This seal was actually pushed out of the top. That was the biggest thing wrong with it. This seal was pushed out, and you know, the pump's running. It's just forcing water up the drive shaft and not through the water tube like it's supposed to. We'll go ahead and start by installing the seal. And this one faces down like this, and then the other one sits on top of it like this. Kind of a interesting arrangement there. It's almost down in there. And you'll know when it bottoms because you'll actually hear a change in pitch most of the time. This might not because everything's resonating through the truck bed, so that might affect it. We'll see. From more of like a thump to a ting 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 sound because it actually bottomed out. And then there actually is a shoulder in here. One thing I forgot to mention there, the reason that this is not so critical for this to be perfectly round in here is because it's only a cavity for the water inlet. It's actually a step. It's probably going to be pretty difficult to see on camera. Not too bad. There's a step right there. It's actually a smaller diameter where that seal actually sits in. And then there's a slightly larger diameter where that goes in, so that doesn't affect anything as far as water just flows through there. It's not a sealing surface. Yeah, that's fine. Where did the other seal run off to? Foreshadowing to another video. I'm going to be doing a ignition system tune-up on another engine that I've got. Getting new points and condenser, and I'll set those and show you how to do the timing with a test light. Where is that other seal? I'll be right back. Jump cut. And we're back. Wasted about 15 minutes. The other seal there. Again, it's very strange they use 2 seals there. They're not cheap either. I think they're over, if I remember correctly, it's over $10 a seal. And they're pretty common. I mean, they used them on... So there's really no reason for them to have 2 of them and then them be on back order. You know, seems like it'd make more sense to develop 1 seal. So that's just me. I'm no engineer. So, now we got to be really careful because we're actually going to be, because this one actually faces out. You actually got to make sure that the socket we're using to press it in fits on the outside of that, so we're not damaging that. And I think we're going to be okay. Clean that up. Oh yeah, just perfect. Just barely fits inside there. Might make it a little bit easier to put in too, because this radius edge here from where it's the outside of it's stamped makes it easier to align. We don't need no stinking vise. What are you talking about? Alright, so I tell you, I'm using my phone to do this because I can't find the memory card for my GoPro, which would make life a lot easier because I have stands and things like that to actually do this with better angles. I'm having all kinds of trouble with this phone doing this. So what we're going to do next, you have to be really careful with this because this is a plastic pump housing. We have to press this seal into the top of it. You gotta see. I'm going to do the same thing. You notice it has a very small margin there. You have to be really careful to get a socket that actually works. It's actually close to the right size. You have to be really careful because if you do it wrong, you crack the plastic, gouge it, whatever. But you have to be really gentle. You're still going to hit it in with a hammer, but it's going to be less forgiving of alignment issues too, because you're pounding something in a metal housing. It's very likely that it can kind of self-align a little bit. It's not ideal, but this is actually going in pretty easily. It's kind of hard to tell if that's down in all the way. You can't hit it really hard enough to get that sound out of it that you would with a metal housing. You just gotta be able to tell it ain't moving anymore. Get it flush. Alright, so that's flush. Actually don't have the RTV. I'll continue anyway. It will be just fine. Remember I did say I was going to RTV this. Put a small film here around that surface so we don't pull air. The old housing, or just compare the old grommet. Using the new grommet. It's the same kind. These engines ran for a lot of years, so I think the kit comes with 3 different grommets. So make sure you have the right one for whatever you're using. It's a little chilly out here, so some of this stuff's not as pliable as it normally would be. It's pretty soft rubber, but it's not wanting to cooperate. Come on. We're going to leave that alone for now. I might have to get some kind of silicone spray or something to help lube that up. We're going to put the drive shaft in here. Alright, so the way this works, this doesn't have a pin that sticks out of the shaft or a key that sticks out. This has got a little bit different situation here. It's got a cutout. The pin actually sits in it like that. And then the pin actually rides in a normal looking keyway on the inside of this impeller. So really want to use too much petroleum grease because there's not supposed to be any petroleum in contact with a lot of this stuff. Silicone grease works very well for this, but I don't have any on hand. But it would hold this pin in place, which is tricky, to say the least, to line back up, especially with the sun going down behind you. There's the keyway. Alright, so that's on there. Now, this engine turns clockwise, so you really want to start turning the impeller in that direction to get the vanes to. Alright, we're going to have to use flash. It's getting dim. There we go. And see, that drive pin fell out. You don't want to rotate that too much, like I just did. So you really want all this to face up. After we... There's the... I keep hitting a file size limit with these videos on this phone. That's one of the biggest problems. A GoPro will just go until it fills up your memory card. This doesn't want to work that way. Alright, so we got that lined up. Now this goes clockwise.